Caught me running. How's everyone doing this week?
Good. How are you?
Well,
You're good.
and that lets me know I need to turn my volume up because I couldn't hear you at first. So good check in. All right.
I'm on pins and needles. My exam is tomorrow.
Oh, good for you.
Ooh,
Ew, first time.
yeah, that's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll do well. So with your exam being tomorrow, what do you, are there, you said pins and needles. So what are you most concerned with?
At first it was math, but I know I kind of got the pie chart kind of down. Um, I think for me, an avoid invalid like contracts, that was kind of tricky for me, but I think I kind of got that too.
Okay.
I think more so just distinguishing like exemptions for fair housing, that was kind of confusing as to what that is in Ohio. If we have that in Ohio, like exemptions, like I know the Miss Murphy exemption, and then like if it's 4 or less units, it gets a little murky because I know discrimination is not allowed. However, there's some exemptions. So that's kind of tricky for me.
Yeah. Okay. So fair housing, it's primarily owner occupied buildings with no more than 4 units. So just, because they're not gonna get like super specific on that.
Mhm.
So the only time there's an exemption if it's owner occupied, less than 4 units, and it's not using a broker. And again, when I say using a broker,
Right.
if the owner is an agent, they are technically under a broker and it is using a broker. So you can't hide that you're an agent by saying, well, I own the property, so it's okay.
Mhm.
Because like I said, being an agent, you're an agent, 7 days a week, 65 days a year.
Mhm.
So 24 hours a day, you're always an agent. You can't hide that.
Exactly.
So really for testing purposes, I would just always think if it's the only exemption is owner occupied under 4 units.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I ask about how much is math of the math is going to be on the test? Do you know?
Not a there's going to be some. And I don't want to put anyone on the spot here. I haven't taken the exam in 3 years, so I don't know necessarily. Although there may be somebody on here that's taken the exam recently and might be able to share how much math they experienced on the exam. If anyone wants to chime in, other than that, I would say it's not a whole lot. And here's the reality of it. There are 4 topics that you're going to cover at a high level on the exam in the national portion.
Yeah.
And that's contracts, finances, general principles, and practice of real estate. So those 4 things are going to be at least 50 or so of the questions out of the 80 that you're going to have on the national. And then on the state, it's going to be brokerage relationships and license laws. So those are going to be the 2 that are 30 of the 40 questions on the state. So if you like study those at a high level, I would honestly say it almost doesn't matter what you know on the math.
I'm sorry.
Unless they have to do with those categories.
What was the state again?
State is brokerage relationships and license laws and regulations.
And license law, you pertaining to like the practice of like what can be advertised, marketing.
Right. Right. So license laws is going to be everything that goes along with state licensing rules. Like, so any of the stuff that has to do with the state licensing, like who does what, how long they
Hearing
sit for.
examiner, commissions, is that part
Right,
of
the
it?
superintendent, like all those things, like, is it the governor? Is it, if you know all those things. And
Got it.
again, you can still miss a few of those and probably still be okay because again, it's 30 out of the 40 questions in the state portion are going to have to do with those two categories.
Mm.
That's good to know.
Yeah, so if you, like I said, if you study those 6 topics at a high level and really get comfortable there, you're going to do just fine.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, and I want to shout out Tasha. I spoke to Joshua today, so came in for his meeting.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
He did tell me about it, and he said, "You're making money before you even got your license." And I was like, "Woo!"
Yeah, I told him he had to name you as his sponsor.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
all right. You're welcome. Okay, let's get going. All right. So I'm going to do it the democratic way. Do we want to play Kahoot again, or do we want to go through CompuCram and just do question by question through CompuCram?
Oh, CompuCram might be good.
All right. We've done Kahoot the last couple weeks, so I'm down to go CompuCram.
I was here last week too. Okay.
All right. So let me share my screen. Hang on. Can you all still see the CompuCram window?
Mine's still loading.
Okay. Let me know when you can see it.
Mine still says Keller Williams G has started sharing the screen.
Yeah, mine's still going that way too.
Okay, I'm gonna try it again. Stop share. Share screen.
There we go. I got mine.
Okay, got it.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. All right, all right, all right. Okay, so let's see. All right. So let's pick one out of the 6 that I said. There's financing, general principles, contracts, practice of real estate, license laws and rules of the Ohio Real Estate Commission, or brokerage relationships.
Maybe license law.
Squeaky wheel gets the grease.
That's a good one.
Yes, please.
All right. Okay. Who administers the real estate license law?
Okay.
Do you guys still see the screen?
Yes.
You see the question? Okay. Who administers the real estate license law?
Division of Real Estate.
Division.
Good job. All right. The commission shall suspend for a minimum of 2 months or revoke the license of any broker or sales agent found guilty of a.
Oh, second fair housing
Second.
violation.
All right.
I always
Well, we know
think
who's
of two
passing.
and two.
We know who's passing their test tomorrow.
I always think of 2 and 2 with that because it's like 2 months, 2 offenses. That's what makes it.
Thank you for
Good
that.
job.
Yeah, that's idea.
It's silly, but
No, it's perfect.
Hey, whatever devices help you remember are the right ones.
so many things.
All right. Hang on, all right, there we go. And because I'm splitting screens, I'm not really seeing the chat. So just know that if you're chatting, you might want to take yourself off mute because we're going to be interactive today.
Mm.
All right. Under Ohio law, every listing agency agreement must have
Blockbusting.
A diversity in how the company policy for yeah, blockbusting. 3.
boom. You guys are killing it today.
Mhm.
A homeowner is selling his house without the aid of a broker. The homeowner advertises that he will give anyone who buys his home 2 free airline tickets to anywhere in the continental United States. What is true?
This is perfectly legitimate.
Yeah, it's legitimate. No agent or
Yeah.
broker is involved.
Mhm.
So I would actually say that is correct because if a broker was involved, it would need to. It's an inducement.
It needs to be in the
Since it's
contract.
a personal homeowner,
Yeah, it'd still be fine as long as it was disclosed.
right?
Yeah.
You just have to disclose it on the sales contract. Correct. A broker loses her license and there is no licensed broker to take over the broker's business. In this case,
The last one.
The last
Yep, ancillary trustee. I remember that from the book.
you guys are on a roll. Loving this. Making my job easy today.
Just
Who
did
approves the
the,
appointment? What's
I just
that?
did the Kramer thing like last weekend. And she kept saying, I see dead people, I see dead people. She was like, if you see dead people in the question, it's probate. And if
Probate, yeah.
no one's
Mhm.
dead, then it's court of common pleas or anyway, it kind of tied in with that.
Nice. I see dead people. 6 cents. All right. Who approves the appointment of the ancillary trustee when a broker has died?
supervision.
Probate
There's
court.
dead people. Probate court.
Has died. Yeah, probate court.
That's right. You say dead people, and it's probate.
Wow, that's a good one.
I thought it was stupid at the time, but it's working.
Mhm.
Hey, again, the stupid things help
Hey,
you remember. It's the
whatever
things
works.
that you think are dumb that you're like, that's stuck in my brain now forever.
It did.
What would you expect an Ohio property manager to do?
Recovery of rent.
No, initiate. Prepare lease agreement. Oh,
Which one?
Initiate actions for recovery of rent.
Everyone in agreement? I hear 2 people. I know I have more people on here than that.
I agree.
All right.
Those are not licensed, so.
Broker X is managing a client's 5-unit apartment complex. The broker receives rent deposits of $100 for each unit. $100 for each unit. What must the broker do with the rent deposit receipts?
C, deposit them in property management.
And the
C.
client's name? See?
In the client,
Yeah, I would say C.
them in the office management account. Because it's supposed to be in a property management account
Yeah, since it's property management.
that can accrue interest, right? Like,
Yeah, payable to the property owner.
Mm-hmm.
For the first
You sure
one?
it's not commingle the funds with the trust account funds?
Nope.
Mm,
All right, C it is. Good job. Upon the death of licensed broker, what might occur? Excuse me.
That's an accelerated.
Upon the death. So,
Of the licensed broker, what might occur?
D, a broker within the business entity of the deceased broker takes over the listing.
So D, everyone in agreement?
I say B.
You say B? Superintendent appoints an ancillary trustee?
Mm,
We just asked this question.
I
Who
don't know,
appoints the ancillary trustee?
I know we did, but this is, I remember.
I see dead people. Who appoints the ancillary trustee?
Probate.
If it was dead, it'd be the
There you
probate court.
Oh,
mm.
so are we going with D?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. Under Ohio law, a non-licensed employee of a property manager may
Accept payments of a pre-negotiated rent from a tenant each month.
Everybody agree with A?
Yeah.
A's have it? Correct. A sales agent states in his advertisements that he will provide a free room addition to anyone who buys one of his listings. What is true?
Wait,
Legal as long as it's
Mhm.
disclosed.
Oh, yeah.
between the
Yeah,
buyer.
B,
B.
between the buyer and the seller. Yep.
So
It's
this
the-
one, you're actually
Yeah.
going to be
Yeah.
wrong because
Oh,
it's
it
got to
was?
be on the sales contract.
Yeah.
So it's not
Oh.
between the buyer and seller.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah. So it's got to be, it's legal as long as it's on the sales contract.
Okay.
So first wrong answer. You guys are doing great. If a broker dies and there are no other brokers in the firm, what is true? You guys sensing a theme here?
Mhm.
The first one.
A.
A.
Correct.
Nice.
An agent receives an earnest money deposit check of $1,500. It would be considered commingling funds if the agent
Had to process a check in this broker's trust. Yeah.
Broker's trust account.
B.
See,
D.
Did you say B?
I say C.
D.
Oh, turn check.
B.
Don, which one did you say, B or C?
C.
C. C.
Oh,
C.
C. C.
Oh, we got some
C
confusion
here.
here. It's C. The answer is C. For those who said B, remember, you want to put it in the trust account. So it's not commingling because the trust account is for that specific thing. The brokerage trust account is for checks received, for earnest money, things like that. So that's what the broker's trust account is for. Now, if it was a commercial checking account, that's very different. Then it's commingling funds. And so when you mix the money, it's commingling. So C is the correct answer. A buyer makes an offer on a property. The seller issues a counteroffer, which the buyer signed and the selling agent delivered to the listing agent. The buyer passes a for sale by owner and likes it better. He makes an offer to the for sale by owner and the seller accepts. Which of the following is true?
The counter offer takes the first offer off the table. Buyer pays. The seller issues counter offer.
Say both are valid.
Oh.
Both contracts are valid?
Both.
Everyone agree to that?
Yes.
I'm gonna say D.
I'm going to go with the both the contracts are valid because I heard that one already.
Oh, the buyer has just purchased 2 properties. Okay.
Right. So just because you can always be under contract on multiple properties at once. Just because you're under contract on one doesn't mean you can't be under contract on another. Now, can you close on them? That's a whole nother, scenario. But both contracts are actually considered valid.
If it hadn't been delivered, it I wouldn't have, but.
Correct. It's the deliverance and the transmittal is the actual thing that makes it a contract. A broker offers a seller a free trip to Hawaii in return for a property listing. What is true?
Almost the same as the last one. It's got to be in the listing contract.
Oh, I thought I was going to get you, Don. I thought you were going to say sales contract. So yeah, because it's an inducement to the seller, it's the listing contract.
Wording.
John, a real estate agent, has been found guilty of violating the Federal Fair Housing Act for the 3rd time. What most likely will occur?
Revoke John's license. Commission will revoke.
Boom goes the dynamite.
Nice.
What type of property is encompassed by Ohio's broker lien law?
Single family residence. Broker lien law.
E, property,
What is it?
commercial property.
Commercial property.
Commercial.
Way to go. Broker lien law only applies to commercial properties. The rate of commission for residential properties is set by the
Broker and principal.
Broker and principal.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
And something just came up on one of the Facebook groups I'm in. The Sherman Antitrust Act. Be careful when agents start talking to you about commission on social media. Anybody in that conversation is then tied in to the Sherman Antitrust Act. So be very careful that you're not price setting and talking to agents about commissions and saying things like, standard, set or anything like that. Because then you're going to be in trouble with the Sherman Antitrust Act. And everyone in the conversation gets pulled into that lawsuit. When would a license be considered inactive?
And the person directs the broker to return the license to the division.
C.
What's CE?
Continuing education.
It's automatically suspended if you do not prove those. You've taken those.
I would say D.
All right, what's the consensus?
The second one.
Directs the broker to return.
So inactive is when the director directs the broker to return. That is correct. So your license is suspended if you don't do CE. So it doesn't go inactive. Hang on, let me allow someone into the meeting. Welcome, welcome. We are in CompuCram. A licensed property manager is negotiating a lease on behalf of a commercial landlord. The property to be rented is retail space in a soon-to-open mall. What type of lease would you expect the property manager to negotiate?
Percentage lease.
Going once, going twice, percentage lease?
Yep.
Word. Way to go. You guys crushed that.
Woohoo.
All right. Let's see. All right. So that was really good. So that was one part of the state. You want to just do the other part of the state?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brokerage relationships? All right. Let's knock out state today. A relationship in which the agent is placed in the position of trust and confidence is described as
Fiduciary.
Fiduciary.
correct. A listing agent represents a seller and therefore owes fiduciary duties to the seller. What duties are owed to a buyer customer?
Patent defects.
Close latent defects.
Ooh, I got patent and latent. We need some tiebreakers here. Who's got what?
Patent
I
is,
got one.
Patent.
patent is material defects, right? Latent, you find out late. It's late. It's
Patent are covered under the buyer caveat emptor or whatever because they're like obvious and
let the buyer beware.
latent are like hidden defects that nobody would know unless like the seller would know.
So which is it?
Oh,
B.
I feel like it's C. Okay, B.
B?
Do it.
That is correct.
Okay.
Good job.
If you know about it, you must disclose it. So you know your job is to treat them honestly and fairly.
Okay.
So when they talk about latent defects, they're not talking about something that you don't know about.
Oh,
So just
okay.
and they will say in there if you didn't know, but typically they're not going to say the agent didn't know and there was a latent defect. But in that case, you do have the way the division works is should you have known? Would the average real estate agent have known that? And they will go by the average agent, not the best agent who used to be a inspector and became an agent and knows everything about houses inside and out. The average agent, would they know that that was a defect that needed to be disclosed? So just know that it's if you know about it and don't disclose it, then you are at fault. So yeah, so honesty and fairness are what you owe to the client, the customer. Brian is looking for some property to buy. Brian hires a real estate broker to help him find a property. Brian signs a purchaser agency agreement with the real estate broker. Brian finds a for sale by owner property and makes an offer directly with the seller who accepts his offer. What made the buyer have to give the broker even though the broker did not assist in the transaction?
The rate of commission negotiated.
The purchase.
B.
B.
Correct. So the agency agreement says that they're going to pay the commission to the broker even if the buyer buys without the broker.
And that's because he signed the purchaser agreement. Isn't that correct?
Correct. The agency agreement, because he signed the agreement and it's whatever the agreement states. While you are on floor time, a buyer asks you to run the MLS and let them know what's available. You tell them that you need to ask them some questions in order to know what price range they are in, and they agree. You pre-qualify them yourself and pull up a number of listings. You schedule some showings and sell them a home that weekend. The law requires you to
Could be.
See,
Consumer guide.
give them a consumer guide.
correct. So anytime you start asking them about their situation, their finances and things like that, and their ability to purchase, a consumer guide needs to come out. It's at first substantial contact, which would cause a real estate sales agent to lose his Ohio state license.
Violation of canon of ethics.
I don't know.
Hold it back to it.
Ooh, canon and code, which is it?
And
Canon.
And it was a state.
codes
That's
for
correct.
NAR.
Yeah. So just think whenever that happens, a lot of people get those two confused, canons and code. Code is your board of realtors. Canons are the Ohio laws. So canons are always going to beat codes. You know, people can have codes all they want, but the canons are going to shoot them down. So canons will always beat a code. So however you want to remember it, that's a stupid way I remember is canons are stronger than a code.
That's good.
What is not a fiduciary duty of an Ohio real estate licensee?
Loan arranging.
Well, yeah.
Loan arranging.
Correct. A listing agent is about to show a property to prospective buyers. The buyers state they would like the listing agent to represent them as well. If the listing agent represents both buyer and seller in the same transaction, this is known as
Dual.
Whoa.
all right. And bonus question, which part of the agency disclosure is that on?
The third. Part
3.
three.
Correct. X, list the property. Well, can you give me the other two? What's number one?
Section 1, co-broke, and Section 2, in company.
No.
Section 1 in company, section 2 is one brokerage.
So section 1 is single brokerage, where the one side is unrepresented. Section 2 is you're co-brokering with another company. Section 3 is dual agency. X lists the property. X finds a buyer. Is X allowed to write an offer as a buyer's representative?
C.
X is
Third one. Yep.
Everyone agree on C? That's what I heard first.
This is tricky.
You gotta love the whole house announcements when the kids get it. Someone needs help with ice cream. So I haven't heard consensus on this one. Where are we at?
Check the answer.
C.
All right. Yes. So as long as they both agree in writing. So that's essentially dual agency.
Oh, okay.
You know, dual agency is as long as both parties have agreed to it in writing, you're fine. Now, as a practicing agent, I will warn you, dual agency can be tricky. because it essentially in a regular transaction, you can act like a coach and coach the person that you're working with to win the game. You can help beat the other side. If you're in dual agency, you are a referee. You have to be fair and impartial to both sides. You could have unfair knowledge of one person's situation and give away too much information to the other side, and that hurts the client. So you cannot advise on offer prices or anything else. You can't, if they say, what should we offer? We don't know. You say, well, here are some comps, here are some comparables that you can look at and decide where you want to make an offer. That's about as far as you can go in telling them what price they should offer or what price they should accept. So just know that it is a slippery slope in dual agency.
That's tricky.
And I've done it, and it can be done. You just have to be very careful and document everything in writing. Because if it ever comes back to you, that's the thing that's going to save you, is having everything in writing. Agent Bill has had a busy open house. In fact, 3 buyers want to make offers on the property and have asked Agent Bill to be their agent and are willing to consent to dual agency. What documents must be given to each of Agent Bill's new buyer clients?
D.
Everyone agree with D?
Mhm.
Oh, that doesn't sound convincing. I heard some murmurs. What do you think? Is it D? A lot of real estate is fairly common sense.
Right, right.
You know, what do you think a buyer should have that would protect them in that situation?
D sounds right.
All the disclosures.
Yes. So consumer guide to agency, because for substantial contact, agency disclosure statement, because you have to have one of those before writing an offer. And then the contemporaneous offer disclosure, because they're all writing offers on the same property and they will all want you to represent them. So you have to let them know that you are also representing other buyers. So that situation had multiple facets to it. So D was the correct answer. A buyer signs an agreement with a broker under which the broker agrees to represent the buyer in dealing with third parties. What did the buyer sign?
Purchase.
I was going to let that one ride with just one. I only heard one of you. And at the same time, it was right. So I'll roll. What duty survives the termination of a listing?
Confidentiality.
Confidentiality.
Yep.
So
Confidentiality.
three of you agree confidentiality. All right.
Unless
That's
subpoena.
correct. There we go. There's the only time it is not a duty is when it's subpoenaed. When you are subpoenaed, you are allowed to break confidentiality. What would not cause a real estate sales agent to lose her license?
The last.
Violation of the code.
Yeah.
Cannons over code every time. A buyer should never hear his or her real estate agent say which of the following?
First one.
Take the offer to the seller.
Yeah. B.
Yeah.
Correct. And a word to the wise, I always told my seller clients, hey, even if they offer me $50 for your $1 million property, I still have to bring you that offer. So just remember, don't kill the messenger.
Mhm.
It's my job to present any and all offers, no matter how outlandish they may appear. Salesperson A knew that Mr. and Mrs. Buyer were working with salesperson B under an exclusive purchaser agreement. Before A can work with the buyers, he
C.
I've heard one C.
C.
B. All right, so I got a B and a C. Who's the tiebreaker?
Yes, I see.
Say C.
Yeah.
All right, C is correct. So, yeah, in that situation, whenever you find out someone is under an agreement, just stop talking to them. Now here's the caveat to that. If they call you or reach out to you with questions, you are allowed to answer those questions. So I've had several people that are working with other agents that have reached out to me and started asking me questions. I am allowed to answer all their questions. I cannot solicit their business while I'm, once I know that they're under agency. I can't, talk bad about the other agent or anything like that. I can only answer their questions. Now, if they decide to go with me based on that, they're allowed to do that. They're allowed to terminate their agency and come work with me. So again, you're allowed to talk to them and answer their questions. You are not allowed to solicit them, and you are not allowed to reach out to them to solicit their business. So, just know that if they want to ask you questions, they're free to do so. You just can't go after them. A sales agent is acting as a dual agent. The buyer asks the sales agent how much to offer for the listing. The sales agent should.
The last one.
I was going to say, we just talked about this. I'd feel like I wasn't being heard.
I hear you.
I have to read the question a couple times.
A broker and sellers enter an agreement whereby the sellers owe no commission if they find their own buyer. What type of listing agreement have they signed?
Net.
Exclusive agency.
Exclusive agency.
I heard a bunch of things, but I'm going to go with the right one. Exclusive agency.
Oh, a broker for entry agreement.
Everyone see why?
Yes.
So yeah, exclusive right to sell is one that every agent wants. Exclusive agent, because they may ask the question that way. What type of listing agreement would an agent prefer or a broker prefer? And that's exclusive right to sell, because that means no matter who buys it, the agent is, the brokerage is in line for the commission. Exclusive agency just is the type that the buyer or the seller wants, because that means that if they sell it on their own, they don't have to pay anybody. What is an ethical standard that must be followed by an Ohio real estate sales associate?
B.
B.
Honestly and fairly.
If anybody else had other answers than B, it is always going to be B. Honestly and fairly. It's what you owe everyone. So it's what you owe the buyer, the client, the fiduciary. It's what you owe everyone, is to be honest and fair. A sales agent advertises a property for $180,000 when in fact the sales agent has listed the property for $200,000. The sales agent does not have the seller's permission to advertise the property for $180,000 What statement is true?
Be the second one.
False
False
representation.
representation.
Yeah, I would say B.
B. Or A, yeah, B.
So B and D are hard to differentiate on Zoom. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
Which one?
B.
Ew.
The truth in lending.
So we're going B?
Okay.
Ha,
B.
ha, I did it.
2.
That's incorrect.
Okay, I knew it was 4. I knew
Nobody
it was
said
4.
4.
I changed my
heard it.
mind
I
after everyone
tried.
said truth in lending.
Yeah, it's just false representation. Truth in lending is only with the lender.
Right.
So the seller, the agent has nothing to do with the truth in lending because you're not talking about a loan. You're talking about the sales price of a property. So the only thing they've done, well, not the only thing, but the thing they've done most wrong is that they're guilty of false representation because the seller did not agree to representing the property that way. So it's false representation. So it's the old bait and switch.
Mhm.
So that's Truth in Advertising Act, not truth in lending. In creating an agency contract, what is true?
Three.
3.
3.
Man, I got scared. I lost all of you. I was like, did I lose internet connection?
Oh,
Reading
Sure.
thoroughly over here.
Reading.
Yeah.
Good. All right. So we all agree on number 3,
3.
C.
Yes.
All right. Correct. All right. Last question. A broker lists a home. This agreement can be terminated by all of the following except.
3.
3.
Unfortunately.
Dun, dun,
Because
dun.
we don't matter as salespeople.
Yeah.
All right. Way to go. You guys crushed that. You did the state portion. Excellent.
Wow.
So we got 12 minutes left. I'm going to reserve that time for any questions, any concerns. You know, I don't think we'll be able to get through another section. So
That was
how's
good.
everybody feel about their knowledge of the state portion?
Pretty good.
Good.
Practice
I'm
makes
getting,
perfect.
if I'm
Yeah.
consistently getting like high 80s, 90s, a lot of times 100% on like the smaller portions on CompuCram, you think I'm good for tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don, you're taking it tomorrow too?
Taking it tomorrow, 5:30.
Don, you're ready. You are ready for sure.
Yeah. Like it.
I don't know, I'm like going back and going through all the modules because now they don't have the time limits on the like the slides. So I'm like
Yeah.
trying to refresh.
Send me what you're studying. Yeah.
I've been doing everything.
Aren't you taking it tomorrow too?
Is
So-
everybody using CompuCram?
CompuCram's been great for me. There's a on Spotify, there's a podcast called AHA,
Mhm,
AHA.
mhm.
I just like turn the guy's kind of annoying at the beginning, but you can like fast forward through like the
Yeah.
beginning parts. I just like listen to it when I'm driving around. It's kind of like review. He basically does like what we're doing. He just like goes through, he reads off a question, gives the answers,
Uh-huh.
then I'll like
Are
break
you-
down like what the right answer is and why.
I love that.
It doesn't hurt, you know. If you're
Yeah,
like-
right. Did you say it's on Spotify?
yeah. It's just AHA, AHA.
Okay.
There's a couple other ones on there, but I don't know. That one had a lot of reviews.
Okay.
Wizard on YouTube.
If you want, I can check in next week and let you guys know how many math questions are on there.
Okay.
You guys should throw these in the chat. You know, if you got,
Yeah.
you said, I heard someone throw in a YouTube, you should throw it in the chat for everybody.
The Real Estate Wizard is great on YouTube. I fall asleep to it. Over 300 vocabulary words on the website, 2 free practice exams, 100 questions for the national, 40 for state. Really good stuff.
Mhm.
I also found Kahoot, if you go into like the Discover thing and just search Ohio real estate, there are like other made, if you do the practice mode, you can play against like other computers and it's time.
Oh, that's fun.
Or you can do practice mode and you can just like go through. I actually like doing the timed ones because I don't know,
Me
it's
too.
a good indicator if you know it, like, like right off the bat.
Oh yeah, that's good.
The time gives me anxiety.
But
Yeah,
with the timed ones, it's like you don't have time to read all the answers sometimes. So
right.
if you do the practice, like I don't know, in the app, if you hit practice, there's no timer, so you can take your time. And then if you get one wrong at the end, it'll go back to the ones you got wrong, and like give you another chance.
From timed, I start skipping words.
Yeah.
Hey, Donald, welcome to the group chat for study session. We actually are wrapping up here, and at the same time, these are recorded. So if you want to go back and review, you can. I know for whatever reason you're just jumping in. Just know that you can go back and review these and look back on the old, any of the old ones as well. So feel free to stay in.
I appreciate it. I was running a little late off of work. I was hoping to get in towards the tail end, but yeah, I'll definitely get the next one on time.
And like I said, pop in, check out the videos. We record these. So, all right. And yeah, as far as, all the stuff you guys are giving each other, that's what we're here for. So I'm really glad you guys are finding other resources that you can use and that can help each other out. And Tasha, I know you said the timing kind of, gives you anxiety. When you take the test, there is so much time. Just know you have more time than you need. And here's the thing that I found helpful for me. If there was a question that I didn't know or wasn't sure about, I'd just skip it. Mm-hmm. And you're allowed to flag them. So you can flag the question in the system. And then that way, which ones you flagged, and you can go back to them and say, okay, you can finish the test and then go back to all the ones you flagged, whether you answered them or not. Because sometimes I'd answer and flag it. Like, I'm just not sure. And so that way I could go back. And what I did was I basically counted them. And I was like, I knew how many I was allowed to miss to still get 70%. Mm-hmm. And then I basically do the math and be like, all right, I still should pass. So just go back 8 questions on real estate calculations. So that's not a lot. 8 questions out of 120 or whatever. So
online, you could look it up on the PSI on the website. It has a breakdown of how many questions are on each category.
Yeah.
So I took it in July, right after I got a hospital. I shouldn't have did it. I ended up having this was last year. I ended up getting COVID. We was doing good, but then we let a family member over and I caught COVID. We caught COVID from them, and then I ended up having an asthma attack and pass away. But I decided to still go. Once they pronounced me dead, I got out of the hospital and everything, but I decided to take the test anyway. I should never have did that. But
whoa. That's a lot to put on yourself to take a test.
Yeah, but I had waited, and I just needed to get something, just to occupy my mind because a lot had happened. But so this is what they gave me. So there was, for the state government of the real estate profession, there was 4 questions. Licensing requirements was 6. Licensing law and rules of the Ohio State Real Estate Commission was 16. Brokerage relationships, there were 14 questions there.
Ooh, 30 out of 40, I was right.
And then property ownership, there were 6 questions. Land use control and regulations, there were 4. Valuations and market analysts, there were 6. Financing, there was 8. General principles of agency, there was 10. Property disclosures, there were 5. Contracts, there were 14. Leasing and property management, there were 2. Transfer of title, there were 6. Practice of real estate, there was 11. And real estate calculations, there were 8.
So as you heard, there are certain questions so just like I said, if you got all the ones in license law and regulations and brokerage relationships, that's 75% on the state. So you can miss every other question that they ask you on the state besides those 2 categories and you'd still pass. So, again, focusing on the important parts, there's a lot in real estate, and here's the reality. You're just learning the rules. Get past this and then go out and actually do real estate. That's where it's going to come in. Just get past this, because a lot of this you're not going to ever use.
You're not.
It won't work, because here's the thing. If you do your job right, you're not going to go before the division. You're not going to go before the board. You're not, most of these things aren't going to come up. Do your job right.
Yeah, that's what it boils down to.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And that was awesome. Thanks for that breakdown.
Thank you. Yes.
I'm sure that was helpful for everyone. All right, we got 3 minutes left. Any other questions? Any other comments for the greater good?
Good luck tomorrow.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah,
Good luck.
Thank you, and good luck.
We'll
to
miss you next week in our session.
Oh, man.
Well, we won't look for them next week in our session,
But we will miss them.
Hopefully, I will be.
because I'll be meeting with they'll be meeting with us in the office to get onboarded.
Oh
They
yeah,
gotta come in and tell us how they did.
Yeah,
yeah.
How soon do
Right.
you find out after taking the test?
Oh yeah.
it's immediate. Right
I
then.
was told they put it up on
Immediately after.
immediately.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they post it on a banner and then post it to Facebook. And no, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
Get the horn
Put you on
blown.
blast.
Oh my God. My anxiety is through the roof.
No. You'll know immediately. It basically gives you the right then.
That's good.
So as soon as you finish, you'll know the answer. I know the first time I took my real estate exam in the Carolinas, I wasn't sure if I had passed. And it was just pass fail, they didn't tell me the breakdown or anything. As soon as he said passed, I basically grabbed it and virtually ran out so they couldn't take it away from me.
Oh my God. Seriously. Oh my God. Did you pass your first time?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I
First
heard
time
in
in-
North Carolina, do you not have to take the classes or the courses or the pre-licensing if you're already licensed in another state? You can opt
It
out
depends
and
on the
study.
state. So Ohio is not reciprocal with North Carolina. So when I moved to Ohio, I had to take the class, I had to take the exam, the state and the national. Even though I had been a licensed broker, I was a broker in North Carolina for 6 years. So even though I had, a license in another state and been practicing, I did have to take everything over again.
How different are the laws for the states? Are they that much different?
Some. They're not that much different. You'll find some differences. I felt like North Carolina was stricter on some things and looser on others. It just depends. Like up here, you have to join a local board within 30 days of getting licensed in Ohio. In North Carolina, you don't have to join a board ever.
Oh, wow.
Because technically you don't have to be a realtor to sell real estate. You just have to have a license. And, you'd be a sales agent, you wouldn't be a realtor. Now, do you have to join a local board in order to have access to the MLS? Yes. So it's kind of a catch-22. And at the same time, if you were someone who just wanted to do a referral business or something like that, you don't have to carry a board of real estate, designation. So some things are better, some things are worse. It just depends. But yeah, mark all your a lot of your licensing laws as far as marketing were different in North Carolina. How you have to market on signs and things like that. That's different. So you can't. I had to change my company name because I think I was Realty, Thresholds Realty, and in Ohio you can't use that word unless you're a brokerage. So I had to change the name of my company. So certain things. All right. Well, that ends it for us. Thank you so much for participating and being a part of it all. Good luck to those taking the test tomorrow. I look forward to seeing your messages saying I passed and let's get going. And we'll get you in and get you started and off to the races.
Thank you.